Welcome everyone to another edition of True House Stories. I am Lenny Fontana coming out of New York City, from my studio live, Facebook Live, and we're all over podcasting on all the portals, thankfully, and just been added to iHeart, which is a wow moment, okay?
Yeah.
In America. So the ones in the UK and Europe, you could see us through Apple Music and such and such. This week, one of our longtime divas who has been singing from the R&B days, crossed into house music, made her name huge in house music. And anytime I've ever said, oh, I'm playing with Kathy Brown, or Kathy Brown's got a new song, it's like instantaneous spotlight goes right to her. And I mean, like, it's like someone saying, stop and listen. Kathy Brown does that to you. Her vocal is synonymous. She's been on Defected, if I remember correctly, Cutting Records. I think Strictly Rhythm was it too. I think you Gladys signed the record with us, maybe. I don't remember. But I know you've been around. You all the major labels, all the background sessions, all the songs she co-wrote for other people. Worked with famous people like Dave Morales, Frankie Knuckles, myself. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. On and on and on and on. She's well praised, well loved. She even started her own record label, God bless her, in a time that I said, why?
Yes.
Why? But we'll ask her why later. Why? So, I'd like to welcome the American diva that we cherish and love, Miss Kathy Brown.
Thank you. So glad to be here with you tonight. I love what you're doing. I'm loving this. Talking to different artists and musicians and so forth and et cetera about their journeys. So I am loving this. And I'm learning a lot of things too. I've learned a lot watching it. Because I was like, what? For real?
That's what I said. The same thing. Like I heard things that went, ooh, that's what they want? Okay. Time to change up.
Yes.
So since that we're live,
we go back a long way though. So.
Oh yeah, you and I do too. We go through the 90s. I mean, the golden era of dance music.
Yes.
The golden era.
Definitely golden era. That's for sure. I love it.
Here's how we start. If you've been watching this show and everybody knows, the first question I always ask is, we know you got a mom and we know you got a dad. We know you were born. We know you were named Kathy Brown. So Kathy's a young girl starting out. Where does music find you, or where do you find music?
Where does music find me? Well, let me just start a little bit. I'll give you a little bit about me, my mom and dad. My mother was a preacher, minister. She also sung, did a lot of singing. So she started me and two other of my sisters, about 7 of us. So she started 3 of us singing. And it got to the point we just started singing, opening up for major gospel groups. That's how it all started, gospel groups. And in New York, oh, wow, you wouldn't believe. We opened up for people like the Winans, the Gospel Keynotes, you name it, Heavyweights, you name it. We opened up for every major group there was. Shirley Caesar is family. So my whole life history is all about music. My family I was brought up in music, around musicians, so on and et cetera. But that's just a little bit of the beginning. That's how it all got started, through gospel.
So gospel.
Then I met a man by the name of Glenn Dorsey from the Joneses. I was in the laundromat singing, me and my aunt, and he was looking for a female group. So he heard us singing in the laundromat and came in and asked us if we would be a part of his group. So I put the group together, and he brought in another people by the name of Charlene. And I named us Sweet Cinnamon. This is when Fulton Street used to be the hot spot for celebrities. Baby Graham, 521, you name it. Fulton was in Nostrand and Franklin. Look back in the day. I used to hang out with the Joneses as well. So it was more on the R&B gospel side. That's what I love. And then one day, Karen Bernard which was from the Joneses. I know you know Karen Bernard.
Motherland, oh, the
Yes.
father is in
Yes, my girl.
Oh yeah, great singer.
Yeah.
Great singer.
Yes. I mean, she's been out here. She's introduced me to so much. Actually, it was Karen who actually introduced me to all of this. I had no interest in house music, didn't know what house music was. She called me up one morning about 2 a.m. Come down to the studio. I want you to meet this guy named Dave Shaw. Went into the studio, and I was born as a house singer. First single was Can't Play Around. Nice track, top 10, did really good my first time out. Listen, it was Pressure Tooth. I had Louis Vega, Dave Shaw, Kenny Dope, Fred McFarlane. Wow, the studio was packed with people on my first session. So that's how it all got started.
Wait a minute, I'm gonna think that's 23 West bass hit, right? That sounds like bass hit recording on 23rd Street.
You know it.
I worked there. I know the spot. You named all the characters. I went, wait a minute. That's Dave Darlington and Steve Barkley. Yes. That's 23 West. Yes. Everyone, that was a famous recording studio in the 90s where you see, for example, Louis Vega doing the New Eureka Soul album video. That was all done in that studio, 23 West. It was on 23rd and 6th. And this bass hit. And Steve Rosen and Dave Darlington ran.
Yep, there you go. That's how it all got started.
Took us back there for a second.
Oh, yeah. And that's just to give you a little bit of the history, how I come up to that and so forth and external. But yeah, that's how it all got started. The ride has definitely been a journey. Coming through this business, I've learned a lot. That's for sure.
You think you learned a lot?
I'm still learning.
So you're still learning, Bobby.
I'm still learning, but hey, yeah, I've learned a lot. I will say this about this business, though: you gotta love it. You really have to love it to do what we do. Year after year after year, so unexpected, but it's been good. My music, I love what I do. People are loving it, so and I'm just moving on, keeping it moving, doing more and more.
Well, let's go back a little bit to Karen Bernard. So Karen Bernard, at that time, I know she was working with Richie Rich. If I remember Richie from the Project X Records around that time, Motherland, that was that whole era. So you were around all those. So you're coming off the R&B side of things, the gospel. So you out traveling doing that, or were you just staying in New York only and doing it from that perspective? No,
I wasn't. Okay, when it all started, I didn't start out doing it. I did the R&B side, live band, which my bass player was Karen's bass player as well. He joined the Joneses group. So it started out like that, and Karen taking me around to the different places. I met PM Dawn, Studio 54 used to be a good hangout spot for us. She introduced me to that as well. Going out to see people like MC Light, so on, et cetera. So she would introduce me to all these people. So I got into that phase of listen, R&B was sweet back then.
Yeah, I know. So that's the time of Belle Biv DeVoe and all that stuff going on.
Listen, it was fantastic to meet all these people and just to grace the same, to be in the same room. It was, breathtaking. But I learned a lot, yeah. But that's how I got started. Through the R&B side, I used to do a lot of stuff for Dave Shaw as well, backing vocals and stuff, as you spoke on earlier. I've done a lot of stuff for different celebrities and stuff. Gloria Gaynor, for one. I've written one of the tracks on the album there in collaboration with Linda Clifford and 2 other writers as well. So it was 4 of us on one of the singles on the album. Ain't gonna tell you what else, but anyway, I got to work on the album, so that it was nice. It was really nice. So I've done a few things here and there along the way. Yeah.
Did you have to get you to this point, which thankfully, thank God, we'll get to the COVID stuff later because everyone wants to know how everybody's coping. But you got to explain the 90s New York scene, because you lived in New York at that time. So you got to really, draw the picture what that was like, because for someone who lives in another part of the world, they don't really understand when we talk about that was a magical time.
Listen, the 90s was, it was phenomenal. It was breathtaking. It was the 90s was just fused with so much different music and different styles. Listen, I'm a hip hop baby, so that's where I really come from. People like Heavy D. These people used to come to my house. Things in New York then, music was just more open and more. People just came together more musically. Live musicians. So coming up during that time was like being in heaven. Listen, especially for a young singer to be surrounded by so many, wonderful musicians and wonderful people. Biggie, all of them, we all grew up in the same area.
Where is that area? Tell them what that area is.
Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, East New York. This is the area I grew up in. Then wandered out later into Queens, then back to Brooklyn. So I've been all around the States, but it basically started out in East New York and Bushwick. That's where everything it used to go down back in those times. So yeah, coming from that area, wow. If you wouldn't believe the people. It was amazing. What's the rapper name? I can't remember his name now.
You know the song?
It's been so long. NWA, was he a part of that? He was a part of NWA. Can't remember his name. He passed. I'm bad with names. You
mean Eazy-E?
There you go.
Holy smoke! I'm not even hip hop guy. I'm thinking past. It's got to be West Coast guy. Eazy-E. Everyone, she's talking about Eazy-E from NWA.
Yes,
get your Raiders jackets out, everybody. Eazy-E now. Well, tell us about Eazy-E.
Those were good times. You got to hang around these people and get the different sides of what music was going on then. It was just incredible. I've learned a lot. It taught me a lot, and I didn't have to choose which way I wanted to go vocally. That's what I really liked about it when I got into this game. I didn't have to choose. It was like, come in there and just be yourself. Oh, for real? Okay. Got in there and just ripped it up and down, and that was the first time I'd ever done house music.
Okay, so now let's go to your first session ever. First session. Let's go to the first. I don't care about house music. First session. 101, the session with Kathy Brown. Come on, girl. Share it. What happened?
Listen, I tell you, the very first session, Karen Bernard called me 2 a.m. Can you come to the studio? I get to the studio, like I said, it was packed with people. So me and Karen went inside the booth, and I said, okay, I can do this, but they got to turn the lights down. So they turned the lights down. And Karen was standing next to me. She said, you know what? Just sing whatever you feel. So when the intro came on, she was like, anything you want to do. At the time, I didn't know you could, on the front of somebody's track, throw your little piece on this. I was like, okay. So that's how that was born with Can't Play Around. That intro I wrote. So I just started singing that coming into the song.
Do you remember what the intro is? What you did that night?
Show yeah.
So let's say we're running the session, okay, and the music comes on, and Karen looks at you and she goes, "Go ahead, girl." I can see her going.
I said, "My man is not home." See, I won't get too loud in here, 'cause I'm all alone. So I gotta let you know, you can play around. That was the beginning.
Wow, funny. I can hear everybody clapping around the world. They're screaming, "Go, Kathy! Go, girl!"
Can't play around.
The microphone, the light. I know Dave Shore, but like, "Yo, that's a take right there." He was like, "That's a take."
Was like, oh, listen, they were taping as I was singing. By the time I finished the song, everybody in the studio was jumping up and down and clapping. I was like, "What the hell just happened? Did I do something wrong?" Listen, it was just so on spot. And then Fred, like I said, Fred McFarlane was there, which was at the time Robin S. manager, which I met him.
Keyboard player. Don't forget, he played for the D Train gang. He was in D Train's band.
I knew all the best musicians in New York.
Had everybody in those days. Oh Lord.
Okay, Butch Stewart from the Commodores switched over to gospel. I was like, okay, well, he was part of a group. He was part of the group. Butch Stewart was a part of the group that we put together back in the 90s, a little bit before the 90s.
I was gonna say, what comes before 9?
In the 80s.
What comes before 9? 7 or 8?
Listen, and he was playing keyboards. So we had 3 groups. Sweet Cinnamon, a man by the name of Marvin Cease, who did the track. Now, you know, this is Candy Liquor. I just want to be your candy liquor, Marvin Cease. But he was part of a group. And then there was another group. So we performed several nights at this club. And it just went on and on and on for that for a second. And then I decided to stop and go back to gospel for a second. I did my gospel thing back and forth. I think I did my last gospel show in 93, 4, my very last gospel show. And that night I had, on the show, I had Shirley Caesar, Inez Andrews, Dorothy Norwood. They were called the Caravan Singers, if you look that up back in the day. That's who they were, amazing singers. So they were on my show, a few male groups. Listen, it was just lit for my last.
Where was this show? Where was the show that you held? Where was this?
It was in Queens, in the auditorium. It was in Queens, New York, in an auditorium. My aunt got it together for us.
Wait. Was it like Coming to America? You know, like when?
Yes. When they flew me because I had left New York. They flew me back to New York to do my last gospel show, my auntie. And I helped her as far as bringing all the groups together. So she got the building and it was, listen, I have a video of it. This video, I'm coming down this auditorium aisle with my 3 sisters and we're singing a cappella all the way down the aisle till we get to the stage. And when we hit the stage, the musicians kick in and we start singing. Listen.
That fear.
Listen, what this Shirley Caesar said that day, she said, yes, because we talked to her about being related. We had never actually talked. So when she heard us sing, she was like, oh, yeah, you got to be family. Yes. You girls sings like angels. So we did a few shows together over the years, gospel. I've worked with a lot of amazing people in the gospel film and started out as a kid. So, yeah, good times. But so that's a little bit past me.
Now that you got your house music, you know, what we call house music introductory 101, doing one of the biggest records of that time, Can't Play Around. That was a big record. And David Shaw was very proud of that record. Remember when he gave it to us at that time?
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, who the hell's Kathy Brown? we heard it, we were like, but then not too long after, I remember seeing a record with Dave Morales not too long. I knew he snatched you up quick.
Yeah, Joy.
Yes, David was right there coming to grab you.
Oh, listen, I told you, those times were amazing. Real musicians, I mean, producers was really producing tracks. And Dave and Frank, you know, they would never do tracks. They didn't really produce it. I mean, they went overboard, beyond, to make sure that music was on point. Okay, so, and then he brought in Mariah Carey backing singers, which I went to church with. He didn't know that.
Is that Melanie Daniels in them?
We went to church together. So it was funny when they got into the session. It was like, wait a minute, I know you. Yeah, I used to sing gospel up until, you know, grown, so everybody knew who we were and gospel. But yes, knew the backing singers, and it was fantastic. We just clicked. They knew exactly what I wanted. It was like I didn't have to sit there and go blank, 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 blank. Listen, it was over in 1, 2, 3. But yeah.
Did you write the song, Joy, or somebody else wrote that song? Did you write it?
Well, I write all my songs except for the covers I do. But the co-writer to that track, the actual co-writer to that track was Clyde Osborne. Helped write the track. We wrote it in Dave's studio.
In Brooklyn, right?
Yeah. We wrote it in Dave's studio. We're actually in the hotel, the hotel room. He got to the studio and just rocked it, because when we first did it, Dave was like, something's missing. Something's missing. So we just went back and kind of revamped what we were thinking and came in and it was just on it. What we did. Actually, that record really speaks for today. But yeah, that's what I liked about most of these tracks. They're long lasting. They never go out of date. That's why I love writing tracks that has a message, or that can help somebody heal, or just make you laugh. So I just love to do things that can just come into your home and say, hey, I'm here.
Okay, well, now that we know that Kathy Brown becomes a household name because associations of, you're working with heavyweight New York producers, and, of course, when someone gets a grip of a great voice, they want to have you on as many records. When do you venture out of the United States and cross over the ocean for this? When does that happen for you?
Oh, I first started coming over here overseas 94. Italy was the first place I landed. Did 3 weeks in Italy with Maurizio
Clemente.
Because at the time, Doc Brown was my manager.
Oh, wow. 10 Cities old manager.
Yeah.
And I could hear him. Kathy, it'll go like this.
Yes, Doc was my manager at the
time. Doc Brown.
Yeah, so he sent me to Italy with Vicky Marquez. You hear me? I see, I'm always get her name wrong. But he sent me with Vicky, and we did about 3 weeks over there. And it was fantastic. When I tell you, the club scene there was like, wow. Okay, inside, outside. But there's some beautiful clubs. And the way they appreciated our music was unbelievable. I had never seen it on that level. But it was wow. That's all I can say. It was like, wow, okay. And they're singing all of your words, but they don't speak a bit of English. But when they're singing your song, they're singing it in English. Now, okay, all right. But yeah, we studied in Italy and then came to the UK and did 2 weeks. Went all around. Listen, Turn Me Out was so big here on this side of the world, period. Well, even in States, it did 6 weeks on Billboard with no radio play.
When Billboard really meant something.
Yeah, yes.
When it meant something, you got a Billboard hit record. Not like now when you say a Billboard hit, it's like, oh, that's nice. But back then it really did hold weight,
There you go. It's like we need something like that again. You have a lot of talent out here. Now I kind of like now because you can recreate yourself. Things can go a little bit different. There's not really a whole lot of labels that really have that structure of how to bring artists in and shape them and get them ready, for the next phase, or, it's none of that anymore. It's more or less everybody's doing their own thing, posting it where everybody can see, so everybody gets to hear and see the different new sounds and styles of people that you would never see, because a lot of people don't like to come on these shows that they have on TV. 9 out of 10, they don't do anything with the artists. You win, what happens? So at the end of the day, you can kind of create things, you start it all over and do your own thing. I would love to see something like Soul Train, which brought new and old artists to be presented, to be,
Think about what's going on now, actually. this younger audience is going back to music that's 40, 45
Yes.
years old. You know,
I'm loving it.
Amazing.
I'm loving it.
We all said, oh, it's going to come back. And then after a while, we were like, it ain't coming back. And then, it came back. We were like, no, they don't want that. And it was like, what? They want that?
You got to hear these kids. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of different talent that's being posted up on Facebook and Instagram, the different sites. They're just trying to get it out there for people to see. It's unbelievable. Children are singing stuff that, like you said, happened 30, 40 years ago. And the way they recreated that sound is amazing.
Right. And
the talent that they have is amazing. So you got a lot of talent out here with nowhere to go. So at the end of the day, I would love, like I said, I love to see another Soul Train or something like that. With those standards to come back again, but some labels need to come back first.
Yeah, that's the problem. See, the thing is now and a lot of our old gang doesn't understand today's business model. Today's business model is based on the artist and the social media, where years ago, you didn't have to have anything. You had talent, let's just say. You were very talented, and you leaked out a few copies of this track, and it just organically blew up. Now, it's the opposite. Now they're like, well, how much social media is this person have? The chart metrics.
Yeah, it's not about talent anymore.
It's like, what happened to good music,
Yep, you don't have to be talented. As long as the beat is on and you stay in key with it, that's all you need, really.
Now, here's the thing now. As a DJ and as a record producer, when you hear a really good record, it still stands out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Talent's talent. It is.
Yeah.
Mediocrity is mediocrity. But then when there's something that's really well done,
yes.
There
you go.
Best.
There you go. That's
so
it.
Now, Turn Me Out comes out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Turn me out. I forget how. Sing a little bit of the chorus because
you're on my mind all day till I go to bed. Ooh, baby, you're always in my head. But all I ask for is a love to ease my mind. But you got to work to love, cause I don't have much time. Pull your body to me. Give me that special treat. Cause you know that when we're making love, I wanna feel the heat. Okay.
All right. So now, who's behind that record? Tell us all the players. Give us the inside. Take us on, like put us like here, like a little birdie. Bring us back to the time you walk in the studio. Who's involved? What was all behind it?
Dave Shaw, Cecil Fisher, 7. We call him 7. And me. We got in the studio. Was it Dave Darlington's year? No, of course. So we got in the studio and Dave was playing around with the tracks and we're going to write to this tracks. Okay. So we just started listening to it and everybody started coming up with lines and stuff. And we thought it was funny, just a funny track, just playing around with the track. And next thing you know, bam, we finished the track. I think I wound up doing at that time, I Appreciate and Turn Me Out at the same time. So it was a few things going on. And then they decided to release Turn Me Out. And that was all she wrote ever since that record been out. Since 90, was it 93?
Yeah.
94.
Was Cutting Records signed it, right? Alden Marin.
It's been coming out ever since.
And then I think it was licensed, if I remember correctly, FFRR?
Yep. London Records, yep. They bootlegged it for a year.
It was bootlegged?
It was bootlegged for a year. And then by the time they finally got the record, it was funny. That was too funny. When London Records got the record, P-Tongue, they did what they did, promotions, getting ready to do Top of the Pops. But I had to leave the country, so they sent me to Rotterdam.
Wait. Why'd you have to leave the country?
Don't ask me why they sent me to Rotterdam, then brought me back. But listen, so while they sending me to Rotterdam, I missed the Top of the Pops. So Top of the Pops is playing my track, but no visual, just my song. I think it was number 3 or 2, something like that. It came to do Top of the Pops. After that, listen, the record been out so much, but yeah, it did really, really good. Its first week out. When it did finally come out, they ran out of records. They sold out, just ran out of. And I think at that time, London Records was changing over. So in the middle of that, me being in the mix of that, I got lost in the sauce.
So let's take it back for a second. You said you were in Rotterdam when Top of the Pops played the record. You didn't even make to do the show. Oh, see, I didn't know that.
They didn't get me back in time.
What?
It was crazy. It was really crazy. It was like a whole bunch of people doing stuff. And like I said, they was closing down certain parts of the company at that time. So yeah, it was all messed up. It was all kind of messed up, but it did good even with them being messed up.
Yeah, record was a big hit. It was on BBC Radio 1. It was being rocked. We were playing the hell out of that record.
Yep. And listen, Manchester was one of the biggest spots that listed every single Manchester in Australia. Every single store I walked past, restaurant, they was playing the track. I was like, wow.
Turn me out.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what the heck do they hear in this track? So it just went on and on and on. But yeah.
See, one never knows. See, I try to tell everybody. We don't know what's going to hit or not hit. Did you expect it? Did you, come on, be real now. Did you expect it? Why? Why?
I thought it was a crazy record.
You did?
I did. I thought it was a crazy record. We laughed when we finished. It was like, so y'all think this is good?
You asked to see, you say it sounds like a New Yorker. And that New York tone means, you serious? That's like, are you serious?
Y'all for real, right?
You for real? Is this for real? No, it was for real. It was for real.
Like for real?
No, it's going to go for real. It's like, no, it ain't real.
It surprised me. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff from that track. Billboard, I did a couple of shows for them. I opened up for Crystal Waters. Oh gosh, I did a lot of stuff to go back in those times with that record turned me up.
See what I'm saying? People,
I missed Top of the Pops, but I got to do other things.
Were you crushed about Top of the Pops? Not being able to. Did you realize how big that show was or no?
At the time I didn't, I guess. I didn't really. I think things hit me a little different than most people. Things I probably should get really excited about, I don't. And by the time I do it, it's over with. Everybody done had the fun with it, and I'm like, oh, what happened? So I focus. I'm always in my music, regardless of what's going on around me, or I'm just working on the next project. Just keeping myself just.
Okay, so when you're in that time of your life, at that beginning part of this artistry, were you having to do any kind of other work, or were you 24/7 doing just music at that time?
No, I worked. I definitely worked. The beginning, like I said, I started late though. I didn't start like most people. I was well in my 20s, so yeah, I started later than most people in my career. So I worked before then. I messed around with nursing a little. Like I said, it was between the both, where I could get my gospel. That's why I stayed in gospel so long. Because gospel, I can choose the times I wanted to do things or whatever, or when I wanted to work or blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I did nursing for a while. I even went back to nursing in 2010 and worked in a hospital for 4 years. So I stopped singing for a second and just did the nursing because I enjoyed doing it. But what we do as singers, if you love what you do, and especially me, I love what I do. So singing to patients or whoever it makes happy is who I'm singing to. And with our music is nice. I have all ages. I've never really had a age barrier of fans. So I have all ages, which is cool. Yeah, so
Wow.
I'm just one of
You're
those.
saying a mama. I hear you.
Oh yeah. Definitely some of the mama and grandmama.
I didn't know about this nursing thing. I didn't have no idea that you had.
Oh yeah, I definitely work. I like a challenge. I like doing different things, blah, blah, blah. And I never let one thing define me. But I love my music, which is why I came back to music. It's where my heart is, my passion. So this is really where I want to be. You can create a lot of love through music, songs, and it's why I love doing it. If what I sing can touch you, I'm satisfied. That's what satisfies me. That's what makes me happy. So, but yeah.
Registered nurse Kathy Brown, check you out.
Yep, I did nursing, sure did. An accountant. I did a whole lot of things in the beginning. Growing up, like I said, I was interested in so many different things, and it's always good to have something to fall back on, no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's one way one thing my mother always taught us: always have something else to fall back on. They didn't think singing was. I wasn't allowed to do it. Listen, I made it for the Wiz. I auditioned for the Wiz, got the part. Mom said no. So I tried to get into it when I was younger, but Mom's wasn't having it. It was straight up gospel. So I missed out on a few things, but got the parts.
So you did Broadway as well, or you just auditioned?
Yeah, I did Bubbly Brown Sugar. I only was in it for a little bit. Did the beginning part. My mother wouldn't let me she wouldn't let me venture off into that world. So I get cut real quick in the beginning. Bubbly Brown Sugar and The Wiz. I would have been Stephanie Mills' understudy. I loved Stephanie Mills growing up. She was one of my favorites. So yeah.
So now we're going down, Turn Me Out on the timeline. We're around 93, 94. You did Joy with Morales. Where are we going there in this Kathy Brown stage? Where are we going?
Joy. I've done a lot of tracks in between that and after. I'm still doing stuff. So yeah. What was Make Me Feel Like Singing was the next one. That was MCA Records. Wolfie.
Wolf. Wow.
Wolf.
Steve Wolf. Oh, wow.
Yeah. MCA. So that record was nice. That was hot. That was definitely, the tour on that was nice. Wow. Did a lot of nice things. Used to hang out with Goldie, Paul Trouble Anderson. That's when I met a lot of them. Music back then was it was heaven. People just appreciated it more. It was more. I won't even say "Turn Me Out" was a song that I don't look at "Turn Me Out" as being a song like.
So were you now? Okay, because you were going back and forth states, going into UK, Europe. Were you staying at clumps of time in the UK in those days? What was the plan at that time?
Oh, it was back and forth. It was back and forth 2 weeks, depending on where we were going. The records were hot in the beginning, so it was a lot of traveling. So it was in and out. Then it got to the part where if a tour lasted 6 weeks or longer, and then after that, I would either be doing recording. I've went up and met K-Class, Jive Records. I've done a track with them as well, Andy C. I've done a lot of stuff with a lot of people. Wow, those were the good days. You name it, I have done in this business, and still have stuff coming. I'm doing duets now. I've done one with Brian Chambers. That'll be coming soon. I can't really tell you who I'm doing the other ones with because it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a big surprise, but you're going to like it. But it'll be with his sister in this business. But I have to keep it on down low for now. But I'm doing a couple of duets. I'm also, I think I'm doing one with Lifford as well. So I'm doing a few duets and just keep it moving.
So, okay, so now let's talk about the nitty gritty. Let's get real now. Being a sister, a woman in our business, what are the obstacles for you to have to overcome? Like, what were some of the things that you had to deal with that you really had to set precedents?
I didn't really have to deal with a whole lot. I think I was pretty lucky starting out in this business. I would say this for sure, been in this business. When you come into it, make sure you know the business. In the beginning, it was more or less, I didn't know a lot about a lot of things. You're more or less in the hands of somebody else telling you what to do, what's being done. And if you don't really understand what's going on, it's just happening. And you don't know. It makes you, well, see, I'm trying to be diplomatic here.
You don't have to be diplomatic.
I'm trying not to be nasty, and I'm trying not to be
nasty. Everybody ask her, say, Kathy, we want you to be nasty, girl. Come on now.
Listen,
you can't really hold back. Here's the thing. You don't have to not be clear, but you got to tell the truth. So you got to be nasty. Nasty. Tell us as it is. Come on, lay it out. You're a nurse.
Starting out, I would have to say, yeah, okay. I was screwed, real bad, because I didn't know any better. So while I thought I was being paid for certain things, I think I heard Kim say some stuff like this. When I thought I was being paid for certain things, I wasn't. When I thought I had splits on something, I didn't. So when I looked around again, I was like, okay, wait a minute. I know I wrote. I didn't give nobody nothing. I ain't signed no paper, so how could this possibly happen? And the sad part about it is, when you have as many songs that I've done, keeping up with all of them, listen, but you better keep up with your stuff. Having so many, I really didn't realize I wasn't being paid for certain tracks or a certain track. It all come down to the end where you have to, I put it like this, I try not to make enemies in this business, but you're going to make them regardless what you do, whether you say anything or not say anything. So at the end of the day, yeah, I was really screwed in the beginning with shares on a song that I should have gotten my shares for. People collecting money on my behalf and not giving it to me. I don't think that's, and especially when they grin in your face and say they're your friend. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to call no names.
No, we don't want you to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to call no names. I'm just going to say people need to be careful. When you come into this business, watch your coins, watch your paperwork, and talk to a lawyer. Don't do things, But like I said in the beginning, I was very naive. Didn't know a lot about the business, and people made sure they kept me out of the business. So I didn't know. That was my beginning. It started out wrong. And then I was tied up for years in a production deal. Listen, I couldn't even sneeze without getting permission from a production company to use my vocals, to sing, to do anything.
Can I interject for 1 second? Can you explain to the viewer what that means to be in a production deal? Clarify that.
Yeah.
I know what that means, but the people watching may not know what that means.
A production deal, I was signed to a producer, not a label. The producer was signed to the label. I was kind of just sitting out on a limb where you don't have no say so. I'll break it down for those that really don't understand. You don't have no say so. You have to go off everything your producer said. And if you get a deal, let's say you got a record and they sign that record to somebody, and it blows up, blah, blah, blah. You're stuck if you want to get out of it and run up. Because most of the time you get into deals, it takes you somewhere else. Yeah, that particular record brought you in, but it takes you somewhere else doing different things. And you can't get out of it if your producer that you signed to don't want to let you go. If he wants to be nasty, he won't let you go. He'll have you tied for years and doing nothing with you. So production deal is when you're tied up with two parties. There's three parties altogether, including yourself. That's basically as much as I can explain on that at production level.
But the production deal means as well, you can't go out and record anybody else at that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I couldn't do nothing. That was my point. I couldn't do anything without permission. So it got to the point with me, I just went, they said, you know what, this is not working and it's unfair. So I just went and talked to everybody involved. Actually, I had help. And certain people even tried to get me released from my deal. This is production deals. Production, I hate to say it, they screw you up. If it doesn't work for you, I prefer doing things on my own. I don't like production deals. I prefer we do things equally, where we break things down and split is evenly. There's no big me, no big you. It's a together thing. Singers and producers, we have to work together. It all comes together. One can't do without the other. But production deals are not, just be careful what you sign.
Well, nowadays, I know that's not the way the business is anymore. Back in that time, that was a big thing.
No, people are smarter now. Kids are learning. Listen, kids are coming. They know the deal already. So it's not, people ain't as grimy as they used to be back in the days. But you have a few that'll try. But it's not as bad as it was back then.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And then it was more or less, if you green, then you green, you lose out. So you learn real quick. What's what?
And you learn because it's forced learning. You're in situations that another producer wants to work with you, and you're like, I can't.
Nope, you can't do nothing. It's like being in prison. Yeah, it kind of feels like being in prison. You don't get to choose who you want to work with. You go with what they say. And my thing was in the beginning, I just wasn't going. After doing a few things, it turned out nice on the end. They did let me go. So it was pretty good on the end. So I got released and I'd never sign a production deal again. So no.
Okay, that's fair enough. So, the recommendation is do not sign a production deal.
Yeah.
So you're doing co-splits now, basically. It's more like Kathy Brown and such and such, or Lifford, you said Lifford and the producer, and everybody's got a stake in it.
Yeah, it's not just a one person thing, if we all did it together, because like a lot of times I do all my writing and I'm giving away shares to people that don't write. But at the end of the day, I don't look at it like that. I look at, okay, well, I'm using this. So it's a together thing for me. But if it's turned around, they won't do the same thing that I would do.
I see.
So I find it kind of flippy flop there. It's like, wait. So if I ask you to do something, we can do the 50-50 split. But if you ask me to do something, it ain't. How does it work that way? Either it is or it ain't. You didn't write anything to what I gave you credit on. But that's the way it is. So at the end of the day, I try to...
So you're telling me there's a double standard?
Yes, exactly what I'm talking about. When the producer, not all, I won't say all, because there's beautiful people out here. But you got some producers...
No, I was going to say, because I'm not like that. I'm very...
Yeah, no, you definitely like that. But you got some producers out here that are, send you stuff and be like, you write on da-da-da-da. And they don't want to give you your split. And it's like, wait a minute, but hold on. But if I send out music, it's totally different. They want 50-50 on it or whatever.
So how do you get around that? How do you
I won't do it.
All right. That's what I want to hear.
If you call me and say to me, you want me to work with you, and then after I write the track, a third party jumps up. No. The third party wasn't here when we started. You didn't tell me you had a partner. So at the end of the day, I look at that as being double standard, because now you want to bring a third person in for me to get part of my writing too that didn't write anything on my.
But see, now I'll speak for the producers. If I have a partner and then you and I talk, then I have to split it with the partner, not.
Right. What I got to do with that?
I don't understand. I never understood that. It's like, well, wait a minute. You bring an additional person now. I'm going to cut the part 3 ways. Why?
Yep. And the sad part is that you may have written that track with somebody else. Now you want me to close that person out that helped me write the track. Neither one of y'all wrote nothing to it, but you want me to throw the person out that helped write it.
Can you explain to the children's at home, the children's, what the hell is exactly?
Listen, you know what
what does she mean writing? What is she writing? A toilet paper? What are you writing? Wait, what are you talking
about? Listen, when I first write a song, my lyrics, when I first write it, because I write with or without music. I come from church. I don't need music to sing. So when I write my stuff, as soon as I finish writing it, I register it. It ain't got nothing to do with music. It's my lyrics. Okay, I'm registering my lyrics, not the music, my lyrics. And I started out doing it with the, listen, you know how we have it in the States, copyrights. That's how I used to register my songs, not through BMI or AppScat. I used to send it to copyright,
Washington, D.C.
Yes. When I told Washington, D.C., do I have to split my because I didn't understand it in the beginning. Do I have to split my writing with somebody if they didn't have nothing to do with the writing? You know, they told me, hell no. Why would you split your writing with somebody that didn't write on the track? I said, but that's because that's how they're doing it now. I don't give a hell how they're doing it. This is how it's done. If they didn't write any material, if they didn't write any lyrics to this song, you're not giving up nothing. But I learned to adapt. I'll give them 33 or whatever on a track.
Well, let me explain to everybody what she's in English.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how it goes. In America, we have a thing called 200% for the publishing, 100 for the lyric, and 100 for musical compositions.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's calling Library of Congress and she's asking them and saying, on her part, the poem, the poetic part, she's saying, do I need to give them a piece of that? And they're going, hell no. So what happens is, what we would say 50-50, meaning she would keep her songwriter's rights at 100% and the producers would keep the 100% musical composition. And then the splits would go with the record label. That's how she means. That's what I'm left with. She's on Library of Congress.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's great. No, but I like the way she I want to break it down for the children's. So get your pen and paper out.
I'm sorry. Oh, goodness. But yeah, a lot of people don't understand. So, it's
no,
crazy.
That was good, though. But I like the way you said it. Do I got to give it up? Do I really?
I did. I was like, do I really have to give it up? Listen. But yeah, that's how I used to register my stuff. And then.
Wait, did you put the cassette in the mail?
Yes. With me singing, yes.
So
in my $20.
Kathy Brown's cassettes.
Yes. That's exactly how I used to do it. Look, y'all used to have the reel-to-reel crap. Listen, yes. I would definitely send it that way.
You grabbed your little mic and you said, I'm going to record this so it's copywritten.
Yes. So it's on record.
How important that was? How important all that was? All that was important. You had to do that and to cover your behind so that nobody steal your stuff.
You better cover your behind back then.
Kathy. Let's talk about now your favorite record you've ever done. People have been asking me all week about this. Ask Kathy, what's her favorite record that she's ever done? So now I'm asking.
Oh, I have to say, see, you're gonna be right.
That's okay, whatever it is.
My favorite was Joy, and Not This Time. Frankie Knuckles, his mix.
Oh, Frankie.
It was my favorite because we talked just before he did the mix on that, and we were supposed to do a track together. I met him at Ministry of Sound. So we talked about doing a track, and then, but yeah, that was.
For those that don't know, just give us a quick little.
That was my sweetheart.
Give us a little acapella of Frankie's mix, please, so they could bring you up to speed. You don't have to sing it loud, just a little bit.
Not this time, not this time, baby, not this time, not this time. Every day I wake up, I know something's going wrong. We break up to make up, and right now my heart is torn. I don't want to feel this way inside, so it's time to carry on. Oh, see, I get emotional.
Now, here's the thing I'm going to ask.
I get emotional when I think about Frankie.
Let me ask you something. I noticed one thing about the different stylings. Like I hear that younger R&B-ish sound with that track, opposed to like Joy, which is more, I call it dropping your jaw, where it's full power. And full girth, like it's like in the lower part of your register,
Yeah.
Crazy. I didn't realize. I'm like sitting there going, now I'm actually seeing you singing. I go, wait a minute. Now I hear the difference of the R&B-ish opposed to this more.
David, that's because nobody's never actually heard me sing R&B. They get a sneak peek of it because they when I first started, that was the only way I could sing house music. The music had to be slowed down. And then they speed it up all they wanted to once I left the studio.
What do you mean slow it down?
It was too fast. It was like, what kind of music is this?
Oh, because you were singing slow R&B music. So what would you be singing at that time before you started house music? What was like?
Ballads. That's what I did. Listen, these people over here used to drive me mad. They didn't believe I was singing. So I had to sing an acapella.
What do you mean they didn't believe you were singing? What do you mean?
They thought I was miming my records on my shows. It was so embarrassing. Listen, they would stop the music. They used to do all kind of stuff. They would stop the music to see if I would keep singing.
They thought you were doing the Milli Vanilli?
They thought they was doing, listen, they thought I was doing, even Top of the Pops. They all came out their office. Is she singing for real? Live? I didn't know people still mime. Nobody told me the record book. Nobody told me. So I went in there singing it just like the record. We could easily imitate. That's what we do. Gospel. You imitate. You good at that. You good. So I started singing my song with Top of the Pops, like I said, and they just flipped. But I always sing my song. So what I had to do, I went to Turkey. They stopped my music. Okay. I started singing a cappella. Listen, the place lit up. It was just like, she fucking singing for real. So
the bitch is sing. She can sing.
I had to do that for a minute. I come out my dressing room. That's why I started singing coming out of my dressing room. I'd be in my dressing room and they said, all right, you on stage now. I start singing coming out of my dressing room.
You had to prove that you were really singing.
Yep.
What the hell they think that was going on? That you were doing like some stage look? That you were.
They said it was impossible for me to sing my song just like the record. No artist does that. Yeah.
Well, okay, so wait, let me explain why she's saying this. Back in the day, some of us, because of the pitching issues, we would slow the tracks down. And Clive Davis did it with Whitney Houston's song. He slowed it down to make it feel more the way that it had that swag. And sometimes the labels like that. And the problem was when you change the pitch of an artist, it's hard for them to sing at that pitch. It's not in their range. That's why everybody's questioning how the hell are you singing the record? That's the technically.
Yep. It doesn't change for me. Listen, you know, Clyde David was supposed to have that record Turn Me Out.
Yes, I remember, because I remember David Shaw had it on everybody's desk in New York.
Mm-hmm. He was working for.
He was working. No, he wasn't. Where he was at? Was he at Columbia or Warner?
Yes, Columbia. I was there the day Mariah Carey came in.
That's right. He was at Columbia, because I remember we used to go up to his office.
I was having a meeting with Dave, and when Mariah came in, everybody left the meeting. They left the meeting and took her upstairs. I was like, wow. So that was the first time I seen Mariah. Clyde Davis was supposed to have that track. But
okay, so let me tell you what I heard some of the A&R people were telling me at that time. So I was running around going, and I would see this Turn Me Out, and they says, "Yo, did you hear the track?" I says, "I heard it. Tony Humphries is playing it. I know Vega's rocking it." So I remember saying just like that. I remember being in some of the offices. I remember saying, "That's a hot track, David. He's asking for too much money." That's what he said. He said, I can't break that kind of money when he wants for that. I can't. It's a great record." That's all I remember them hearing. I said, well, I don't know how Aldo got it in the end.
I was so upset, but yeah, Aldo got it.
Cutting Records. I remember when he signed it, because I think Gladys was thinking about it for sure.
Yeah. I met Gladys. Actually, I was going around to different places at that time.
Mark Finkelstein wanted it. I remember that, but it somehow went to Cutting, and Cutting was up in Dykeman, up in Manhattan, uptown in the office. Yeah. Before they moved to by the Madison Square Garden, before they shut the office. But that's where I remember that. Oh, I said, and I think Benji and Danny Buddha were working.
Yes, Benji Candelario.
Benji Candelario was working at the time.
Yes, that was the man. Yes,
Benji. I remember that time. I remember it's like I could just when you said the tape. I remember seeing the cassette. It was the right thing. It said "Turn Me Out," Praxis featuring Kathy Brown, something like that. Praxis.
Yep, you're right.
Who's Praxis?
Dave.
Dave was Praxis. Sure, everybody.
You know, they come up with names back then. The producers would come up with different names for different projects. So yeah, David Cecil, 7.
David Shaw. So there, that was okay. So all right, that's when we go back to that production deal whole situation, and Praxis featuring Kathy Brown signed to Cutting, and eventually the bootleg happens. But Frankie, I get all that. I understand it all, and that was a hot time in New York because remember we were all rocking your record hard, playing. I was playing it all over the world.
Underground was hot at that time.
Yeah,
I loved the underground. I loved it.
Well, we have to give Trouble a lot of credit because Paul Trouble Anderson broke that record on Kiss. I mean, that was his thing, and Bobby and Steve were rocking it, and eventually it went overground. But those guys were the ones that if they got behind your record and championed it, you got a big deal out of it. That's why it took time for that record. Kind of organically had to grow. You're
right about that because it kept coming out. Then I think Warner put it back up.
You can say you like that record, yeah.
Look, but what was it? The Heavies, the brand new. Remember the Heavies? I can't remember their name. It was 2 females that put it out again. 2 females that sang. I think they were sisters, and then they had guys in the video with just bow ties on, no shirts, and they re-released it through Universal. Listen, it did all right, but I was why did they ask me to sing it?
They sang that record? They sang it wasn't your vocal on that, right?
No. Actually, that's the first person that ever called me and asked me could they sing it. So they did the track. But it's been out a lot. That's for sure.
Record did you kind of say, oh, that you like that?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
It's exactly what I say today. You like that?
You really like that?
What does it mean to you? Well, see, it means different things to different people.
What does it actually mean?
Listen, I didn't understand it and I'm up there doing it, and I didn't understand it until it was like, until I heard the Italians do it their way, and I heard somebody else do it I was like, oh, really? Okay, you don't want me to.
Tell us now, what's it like, the competition, even though there's not many of the divas, as we want to say, but in a healthy way? Because like even with the DJs, there's a competition. Yes, we're all friends, but we're all competing for the same work. So what's that like for you on a day-to-day? You know?
It's different for me because I never looked at other artists like competition, even if they looked at me like that. I never looked at it like that. I looked at whatever's for me will be, and whatever's for you will be, because I don't like a lot of things. So I'm not going to throw my vocals on a lot of things. So it may just be for you. So at the end of the day, I've never thought of enough. I always bring other artists into situations where I don't want to do it.
Really?
So when I did that, the lady was, I've never seen an artist do that. No. You know, if you knew how many artists in this business names I brought up for situations, you'd be like, what? Because I didn't want to do it. I thought it was better for them to be a spokesman or this or that. I'm not a talker like that. I can get up and say what I'm saying before my show with that's including my song or whatever, but I don't get up there with all that other stuff. So I just felt, oh, I can introduce you to somebody. I've always done that in this business. Anybody in this business can tell you that I always introduce, well, why don't you work with her? Or why don't you work with him? A lot of our peers over there, I've reached out and put them in situations.
So basically, you've basically been the door opener for some.
Even with some of these agencies. Even with some of the agencies, give them numbers, this, that, to certain artists, da-da-da-da-da. They don't appreciate it, but I do stuff like that. I don't look for anything. I don't, that's just how I am.
That's a wonderful trait, because there's not many like you that way.
Oh, no. Some people don't even want to get on the same stage with me. I don't understand that either. At the end of the day, you have your talent. I have mine. We both doing it different. We sing different. So how can we be on the same level? We're doing different things.
I don't understand either. I don't understand that.
So I don't understand the attitude that they have. I'm going to take something from. How can I take something from you? If you're good, ain't no way I can walk in and take something from you if you're that good.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, if I lose something, it's because it wasn't meant for me.
Well, it's funny because like we had Tony Lee on. I know you probably saw that too. Tony Lee's another Brooklynite. And Tony Lee mentioned about the night he performed at Garage, and they had him as the opening act.
At the Garage.
Right, Paradise Garage. They had the opening act with Glenn McCrae. And, right, Keep the Fire Burning and Glenn McCrae, okay? So Tony rips the room apart, everybody reach up, place is going crazy. Glenn McCrae gets all angry. How dare you put him on before me?
Divas.
But this is Tony Lee, he's a male singer. He's not even a female. I mean, it was done in spirit. It was not like she did her job and she turned him out.
Yeah.
But even like someone like Tony Lee's telling me that story on True House Stories, we're like, really?
Listen, things that used to happen to me before I get up. It didn't just happen overseas. It happened in the States as well. People would turn the microphone off. All kind of stuff. Paradise Garage. What was the other one? Most of the clubs up there I've done. But the Paradise Garage I did with 10 City. It was me, 10 City, Barbara Tucker. Oh man, it was lit that night. It was a few people. And we did the show and bam, it was nice. And it was the last night. Yeah, it was the last night. It was the last time any performance was going on there, blah, 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 whatever. So it was like a closeout. And we did the show. It was nice. But they have a lot of different clubs we're used to in Manhattan where you could go and just let loose. And I mean, not just nightclubs, spots as us singers and entertainers and musicians. They have spots where you can sit down. We call it open mic. You sit down Famous people is coming all in and out. Whoever wants to sing can get up on stage and sing. The musicians can play anything because they're street players. Listen, it used to be heaven. There's this guy named Michael Speaks. Karen used to take me to all this stuff again. And it was a singer there by the name of Michael Speaks. Listen, when I heard this boy sing, this man say, I was hypnotized. Oh my God. Somebody can actually sing like that. He did the track, Thank God. Oh, Thank God for My Child. Oh, what's the name of the track? Teach your children, let them all by the side. Listen, Michael Speaks. He's bad. Y'all got to look him up. But bad singing. That's what we started. Just get up and sing, and it was all around Manhattan.
Was that a Cafe War? That was down in the Village.
Yes, because Karen used to sing. you don't forget nothing, do you? You know, everywhere is, Karen used to sing.
I can't forget nothing because this is all part of our life. Are you kidding?
Yes.
I run into all you girls up in there.
MC Light. We used to go and just be sitting in a chair like this, like a couch. And she's doing her thing in front of us, right in front of us. It's like, wow. So these are the kind of clubs they got in Manhattan, where MC Light is up in here doing her thing. And we would go there just about every other week to see MC Light.
But what did it mean to make it in Manhattan, coming from Brooklyn? You know what I'm saying? Like, how important was that? Not even the world, just Manhattan.
Back then, yeah, it was important. It was everything. You know, to be in Manhattan, to be a part of it, to experience that life. That it was. Listen, it was great. It was great, and like I said, I'm glad I got to see, instead of on TV, what Studio 54 was all about. To actually get to experience it and to meet people like Grace Jones, Bow-Legged Lou, Full Force. Oh my God. Just sitting there with them at the bar having a drink, and it's like, oh my goodness. And then one of them wound up marrying my cousin, Cheryl Pepsi Riley. Yeah, family.
Everyone, breaking news, Cheryl Pepsi Riley. Remember that?
Family.
Come on, Google it. Google it up.
I'm not even going to tell you how she family, but she's family.
Cheryl Pepsi Riley is the cousin of Kathy Brown, everybody. Whoa, I didn't know that either.
Oh, goodness. Listen, we all used to go to church together. Her father.
Wait. What was Cheryl's big song that she signed? I can't remember. I'm sure that.
Thanks for My Child.
Yeah. What was it again?
Thanks for My Child.
I remember that.
She sung that song like she had kids. Okay. When I first heard the song, I was like,
Kathy, you sound like Miss Jenkins now. Don't you be talking about Cheryl?
I was like, wait a minute, she ain't got no kids. How she know about having a baby? I mean, she sung that song like she really experienced losing her child. It was like the message, the emotion that you felt when you heard this song. It was like, damn. Okay. But those were the days. Mike Tyson. I grew up with him. The man fed his pigeons on my roof. These are people I grew up with. Saratoga Avenue and Dumont Avenue is where I live. Legion Street is where Mike Tyson lived at that time. So I grew up around a lot of different creative people. And back in those days, Brooklyn, East New York, and those were the spots. You know, getting close to crossing that bridge to Manhattan. But that's where it was back in the days. Bedford-Stuyvesant, lots of celebrities, rappers mostly, came through Bedford-Stuyvesant. People like Heavy D come to my house. Tupac. I met them way back when Def Jam was doing their thing.
And that was a dream, probably getting signed as the backup singer, right?
I wish I sung it back then. I just loved being around it. Rap was just a way of communicating. Listen, it was all right. Those were the days. That's all I can say. And those people, I forgot how I got introduced to. Well, I got introduced to Heavy D first. Oh, somebody heard me sing, a rapper, and he was like, "Heavy D would really like you." And da 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 da. So I gave him my picture and a tape. I gave him a picture and a tape Heavy D still had my picture. So he came out, called me. They came to my house. We chatted. We were supposed to do something. He was going to Uptown. And then one of the dancers died right after. About a week after he visited me, one of the dancers died. They went because they was doing something. They was on a tour at the time. And something happened at one of the hotels they were at, and that was that. I never got to get back with Heavy D from then. But yeah, those were the good days. And that's when I lived in Bushwick.
And tell us that neighbor was rough back then. It wasn't gentrified.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I remember it was rough back
then.
But
I think because I was a singer and everybody kind of knew it in the block, I had a neighbor across the street from me. Oh, what was his name? He had a TV show in Manhattan. And I did his TV show after I met him. Because I kept seeing this man come up in a limo every day. I'm like, who is this man in his limo? Live across the street on Jefferson Avenue. So one day, he kept playing my song over and over. And I couldn't figure out who was playing my song. Turned me out. Jesus Christ, the man was playing it so much, I had to go and knock on his door. So one morning, he started playing the song. I went over and knocked on his door. And I'm getting ready to argue. I'm getting ready to argue and stuff because this man's playing this song early in the morning. So I walked through the door, Lenny, you wouldn't believe what I saw. He had like a shrine of my very first record, my pictures, I was like, okay, is this man crazy? This is what I'm thinking to myself. And then come to find out the man was a TV personality person who had his own show. His name was Leslie. Had his own show, long hair. Listen, so back then, yeah, I had a fan on the block that I lived on. So it was funny. And then I started doing stuff and I met Wu-Tang through him, Wu-Tang Clan. We did what do you call it? Give back to the neighborhood. So on Pickett Avenue, we had a street show with all the mayors, the different people that came down, me, Wu-Tang, and a gospel group. It was Tony Peoples, I think it was.
Really?
That's exactly who it was.
Tony Peoples.
Listen, a lot of people in gospel know me that knew me back then. Trust me, they remember. We did it a long time, from little girls all the way up to we were grown. So we did it a long time. And I started gospel when I was 9. So I was opening up for acts from the age 9.
So you had Wu-Tang Clan, a gospel thing. How does that work? Because Wu-Tang was...
it was a street show.
It was a militant group, Wu-Tang.
Listen, well, Wu-Tang, okay. Wu-Tang, was it Ghostface? One of the members' mother used to be my manager back in the day. So I don't know how it went down, but once we met, I was like, oh my goodness, I know I know some of the members in the group. So one of the ghosts, they call him Ghost. I think that's the name they use for him in Wu-Tang Clan, Ghost. Yeah, his mom.
She was your first, so she was your manager.
And in the gospel world.
In gospel. Okay. What was the record? You said the guy across the street had your first record. What was the first record he had?
Can't Play Around.
That was your first ever record?
Yes. That was it.
Because I'm thinking there's got to be some R&B stuff that you had did it, maybe that you didn't somehow, maybe I missed.
I never went that far in R&B. I was afraid. I was afraid to get out there and really do it in the beginning, which is why I went. I did a lot of traveling with Karen Bernard just to see how they lived, what they did, how they interacted with each other, what it was all about. You got to remember, I was really sheltered. My mother didn't let us do a lot. So when I met Karen, I was like a virgin with all this stuff, with the music, everything. We weren't allowed to listen to certain music. So, it was just, that's why I say Stephanie Mills was one of my favorites. And different male singers, Barry White, you name it. That was my era. That was it. So,
The phone's ringing. I wanted to
Oh.
ask you a question.
I was going to say, what's going on?
I lost your voice.
Okay, let me see.
I'll keep going as I go. Hopefully.
Okay.
Okay, you're back. Very good. Excellent.
Okay, let me make sure this is plugged in. Okay. You're back?
Yeah, battery. Okay. So,
Yeah.
my question to you is, before the video went out.
I've even done stuff with Al Green.
Okay.
Gospel.
Was it Al Green, right? The gospel singer. Yeah. I love him. Stay Together, Al Green. Yep.
That's why I say back then it was so easy.
But was it, being that you're a church girl and church is the way forward, and now you're stepping into the outside the secular world and going into the world music.
Yeah.
Because the church has a very funny way of handling the world music and the gospel.
Yeah.
I know this from dealing with people that
when I try to explain that to people.
I'm gonna go there. You can't do world music, girl. You gotta praise the Lord.
Listen,
So you break it down.
If you hear some of our earlier gospel, me and my sisters, they used to say we were singing devil music, that our gospel was too bluesy, our style was accepted. So we were called the Metro Stars. They started calling us the Red Hot Metro Stars. But we did a lot. We did a lot of what celebrities did and never actually had our own record. But we wrote all our gospel songs. Back then, gospel was, when the man said to me, when the label did approach us, we had separate labels. The label said, you have to pay for your own this, and you have to pay for your own that. So my question was, as a kid, then what do we need you for? I'm not signing no paperwork with a man who ain't giving me no money. I mean, I'm young, but I'm not stupid. So we never signed a gospel deal because they never wanted to pay. Gospel was totally different. I mean, and see, I hate to go there. And all of that, don't do this, don't do that.
You gotta tell us, you gotta teach us.
Listen, the people in gospel were worse than the people on the street. It was like, okay, all right. So now you're trying to separate. So it was confusing with gospel coming up because you would see them do one thing, they would say one thing, but do another. And I was the type of kid growing up, I watched everything that went around me. I learned. I soaked it in. I absorbed everything that I was learning around me. So it was hard for certain ministers to come at me a certain way. The Bible also say, read the Bible for yourself. So it was hard for them to come at me a certain way when I see you doing certain things. So, yeah, you're right about you can't do both, especially back then, which is why I decided when I started singing dance, that's why you heard me say I did my last gospel show. I couldn't mix the two. I either had to stay here or stay there, but I couldn't bring them together. So I said, okay. Then I guess I stopped singing the gospel and I'm going to try the other thing. Then y'all can, after I get the experience, then I'll come back and y'all can, we got something to talk about. But no, gospel was really different back then. You definitely couldn't do the two. So when I did gospel, it was straight up gospel. Even though I did my R&B on this side, but to me, R&B was like gospel because you were telling stories. Only thing that changed is that I was in a club. But yeah, so it's very different. Now it's totally, you can kind of do what you want to do. Kirk Franklin, I think, kind of busted wide open for the new move. So it's not the same anymore. Now they're doing gospel songs and they and they're up in the club doing it. So could I do that? No.
Can you do that?
No.
Why?
I can't see sipping on a glass of wine and talking about God, I love you. Oh, thank you, Jesus. What am I thinking? No. See, I just
no, but I know what you're saying. I know what you mean. You show.
I mean, I know it changes through different generations so that you can come into it. You know, I just say people should read for themselves. Get clear understanding of things. I like the way they say how they put the Bible out for us to be. I like how they say they put the Bible there so that they can keep us under control and kind of get us in a groove.
I'm going to share this with everybody. I went to this. My wife wanted me to come to this vineyard church, vineyard folk mass type situation, and I told her before we went. I says, Kathy. My wife's name is Kathy as well.
I keep forgetting her name is Kathy.
I said, Kathy, they're going to have a problem with me. And I'll tell you why. As soon as I tell them what I do, this is already heathen. Yes. Satanic, world music.
Yep.
And sure enough, I went to the church. I was there. I gave her my all. I meet some of the clergy. Hi, blah, blah, blah. So welcome for you to come to our church. So what do? Well, I'm a record producer. Oh, you produce gospel? I said, oh, no. I work with gospel singers, but they're perplexed. No, but I do dance music and a international level. And oh no, you cannot be bringing that here. I says, no, I'm not bringing it. This is a church supposed to be opening and welcoming me in.
Yeah, everybody.
I said to Kathy, this is going to happen. She's watching all this. I said, told you. So I understood where you were coming from. I knew where this is going. That church thing and that outside the church thing. I watched Ray Charles' movie. It was the same problem. Everybody who's in that situation that comes out of the church and they start playing chords that maybe are reminiscent to a gospel track. Forget it. Because the root of our music goes back to the slave days, in a sense.
Go ahead and say it. There you go. So where does it come from?
Right. And that's where it comes from. R&B, dance, however you want. The music goes to that direct. If you know the history of music, it always steps back that way. African influence.
Sisters and brothers just singing.
Just singing.
Singing to get messages through. Singing to get messages through. I'm not just singing.
So they said to me, oh, no, we can't have, no, I'm sorry. I was like this, I went, oh my God. I said, this is even worse. I felt like rejected. I didn't even want to be part of it. That's the worst part. I didn't even want to be part of the church. I was like, I just went
But isn't the churches in New York different now?
I haven't been to one like that in a long time, but that wasn't that long ago. That wasn't that long, maybe 10 years ago.
Oh.
I'm like, oh yeah. Oh no. They a lot. You find with some of these churches, in a sense, that some of the people in the clergy are ex
pimps,
drug addicts, ex this,
all kinds.
Right. So what happens is now they take God and Jesus as the drug, and it gets to a point where it's too much. They use it in your face, everything around you're doing, like the born again Christians. I'm nothing against them, but I just find that's what happens. They take alcohol out. Now they put God as their alcohol.
Well, I don't know where you went that they took the alcohol out, because
I'm saying
I don't know where you went they took the alcohol out.
No. I'm saying is ex-alcoholics became born again Christians, say they go into the evangelical church and they want to be, now they have God as the alcohol. It's like, come on, give me a 50% marker here. I can't take 100%. It's too much. You're overwhelming us. You're killing us with God now. Look, I get it. I mean, I'm a Christian. I get it. But it's like, come on now. Easy. Don't drown me in God. Don't tell me everything I'm doing is all about just God. It is, yes. God is giving direction. I get it. I'm not here to badmouth God. It's not that. But don't
beat you with it.
Don't beat my ass down to a brim. I'm like, and especially I'm not doing godly music. Damn you people. No, I ain't no heathen. All right.
It's just having the sunshine and being able to talk to people and touching them with just the comfort of their words. or what you say to them. You don't have to be, you know, anybody can touch if they're coming.
Tyler Bell and all of them. You know those singers. How awesome are they?
Very.
Right? All church singers. Oh, and what's the first thing Donna Summer said in her interviews? I came out of the church.
Yeah.
But
It's a lot that goes on.
Yeah.
And it's a lot that you have to, you know, it's a lot. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to be church bashing today.
Church bash. Everyone, please do me a favor. Pass along the thing to put your money in. D-Train made me laugh one time. D-Train, God bless him, love him. Worked with him. We were on tour together. And he said to me, I went to this church and they asked me about tithing. I said, what'd they ask you? He said, they wanted me to get 45% of my income. 45%, I said. He said 45%? What? Oh, yeah, you got to give up 45%. And what they wanted him to do to become part of that church was they wanted to see his last 2 years of his IRS tax forms. I said, tithing I get. I understand. But tithe where you can afford to tithe. I got to give you now what I'm making, 45% of my income? Oh, no. Hell no.
No, that's where they think they're getting slick.
So sing a song for the church. Here we go. See ya.
All right. Leave that one.
Now, coming forward.
Yeah.
Up until March, you're traveling, you're singing. You even sent me a message, yo, Lenny, I want some tracks. And we know you're working. COVID comes. How are you handling what happened in your life? What was this all about for you? The screechy stop.
I've been in. I made sure I stayed in. Once it hit, blah blah blah, whatever. I don't really go anywhere, so it affected me in the sense where I need to be working. And when the hell is this gonna be over with? That's what I want to know. But it hasn't. It's hit me the same way it's hit everybody else. We need to work. Okay. I love singing. And sitting down, not doing anything. That's why sometimes I do the virtual reality stuff. You know, I do the virtual stuff.
You have to. You got to show we're still going. You have to.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if it died, that's what they want to do. They want to kill it. So at the end of the day, you know, I do it to remain relevant and to touch somebody's soul with song or, you know, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, yeah, we got to show strength. Just keep going. Just keep pushing the music. Music is a beautiful thing. It keeps some people alive. I did notice that about working in hospitals and stuff when you're dealing with older people and you just music, period. It brightens everybody's soul and spirit, just lifts it up. It changes their whole demeanor, their whole attitude, just everything changes when you start singing, when you play music. It just does something to the soul. So at the end of the day, yeah, we need to keep going strong. I know it's hard for all of us. So we just all hanging in there. I'm just hanging in there and doing the best that I can do.
Do you miss traveling right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Listen to me. Let me tell you, you not listen to me? When she says that, that's a Brooklyn girl. Listen to how she speaks. Listen. She says,
that's my favorite word. Listen.
Brooklyn. My God. I know some other people that told her, listen. I'm like,
that right there.
Yeah.
New York girl.
Listen clearly.
Okay.
Brooklyn great bitches.
There you go. Brooklyn in the house.
Brooklyn's in the house. So
listen, I lived in New York from 1969. Yeah, I'm just about to tell my age. Been living there since 1969, and left in 95. So I've been there all my life. And then I moved to South Carolina for peace and so I didn't have to worry about waking up hearing gunshots and people screaming and yelling. Okay, you don't hear nothing but the crickets. So it's nice. I wanted to get my kids out of New York before they got into their teens. So, and I have two boys and two girls. So I wanted to get them out of the city and into the country where they can grow up to be old.
Are they all down there still in South Carolina area?
Yep, never left. Ain't going nowhere. Still there. It, right? Yep, it's different. It's slower. Lots of space. You have to worry about running into nobody, and you got to drive. So it's very different. Peaceful.
How are they handling this whole election year? Because you're over there, and they've
all voted. Yeah, they've all voted.
They all voted, right?
They all voted. Yep, for the first time to get my boys to vote, they voted.
Yeah. They said they're voting.
Everybody voted. I was
is it because of the situation with Trump, or is it because of the Black Lives?
Yeah.
What got everyone?
What they basically said, they don't want to see their children have to worry about police beating them down. So they wanted to go and vote to make sure things could change. It says getting worse, where people just being nasty to each other, just being. It's sad. You wouldn't have known so many people feel the way they feel hadn't this hadn't happened. People still go around keeping things to themselves, but some were doing it behind your back. So now it's more, you know exactly where everybody's standing. It's so and it's sad that it's so much hate. I don't understand all the hate. At the end of the day, I just like giving. Give. And it just don't seem to be enough. So at the end of the day, what can you do? What do you do? And especially if you got kids, grandkids, so on, et cetera, lots of family. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, just hanging in there. I do a lot of writing, so it helps me somewhat. And I don't take anything from anybody or ask anybody for anything. I make it one way or the other on my own strength.
The word is survivor.
There you go.
You're a survivor.
And that's what it has to be at the end of the day. This business is like, when you're down is when people really they get happy when you say you're miserable or, So at the end of the day, you just have to keep it moving.
Okay, so
do what you do.
Here we go.
Keep it going.
Quincy Jones said, I quote him.
Look, I'm working with a rapper named Taz now. We're getting ready to record another track. We've done one so far. So we're getting ready to record another. So I'm doing a few things. I'm just venturing off to I like rap. So
yeah, you're a hip hop queen.
I've been trying to introduce this for years into this business, the rap. The track, not this time with Frankie Knuckles. My son did a rap on it. But I get nervous at the time. I didn't know how to handle it. When I play it, I get big response from it. So, but yeah, now it's more so they're using rappers. Back then they weren't too much, but yeah.
But here's the thing about, well, let me just, I'll interject two things. One, hip hop today, or should we say rap, is not what we remember rap. It don't sound like that.
No, it's different.
What is this?
Yeah, now it's
right.
It's like, what the hell did he just say?
That's what I keep saying every time I hear him. I don't understand it. I'm like, what, why am I not understanding it?
But you got to remember this too. Now, I'm not blaming anybody or yeah.
Yes, you are.
Our generation, I ain't trying to be funny, but our generation was greedy. They didn't try to teach the children of the future. These kids mostly learn what they know on their own, researching, YouTube, whatever way they found it through social media. That's how they found it. It wasn't, say, one of these big producers have 3 or 4 young DJs hanging under, teaching them, showing them the way. I know plenty of producers and DJs in this business. Some have gone on, not doing it no more. Some have died because nobody never even sat down and try to talk to them. Yeah, son, don't do this. This ain't the way to do it. This ain't the way to go. You know, they've never had that guidance of the old school guys trying to keep them in line or showing them where the music really comes from or blah, blah. It's never been no teaching there. There's never been no togetherness there. When I hear young DJs talk, they say, or what I used to hear was, oh, they don't want to share the stage with us. So you know, it was always something negative they say they had to, what they had to do to even say hello to a big producer or a DJ. And it's sad because at the end of the day, we're supposed to be spreading music, we're supposed to be spreading love. But like I said, a lot of people think about things differently than I do. I'm a bit more, yeah.
So back to,
I work with everybody.
I hear that. So here's the thing. Now I was going to say Quincy Jones. I'll take his quote. It's not the peaks that you have to live through. It's how you make it through the valley.
Yes.
So how are you making it and have made it through the valley?
I just keep a very positive, you know, outlook on things. Even when it's bad, I just swim right through that. Yeah, okay. It'll pass. It too shall pass. So at the end of the day, I just keep it moving. I don't let nothing. I mean, yeah, I get to my breakdown points when it's, look, I done took too much or so much is coming in at me. I just fall back on my music. That's what relaxes me. That's what keeps me going. I don't really have no friends in this business. Karen is about the only friend that I really, long friend that I've had since I've been in this business. She brought me in and still around. Barbara Tucker's another person, but I don't really have, I don't have no friends in this business. It's really hard to make friends in this business.
You can make friends, it's keeping them.
Yeah.
That's the difference. You can have a ton of friends. The problem is who's the core group that's not in it to try to take what's yours.
I'll get ready to say, most of the friends I ran into, so-called friends, was there to just take. Not, just to see what they can get and keep it moving. Or try to tear your stuff down and keep it moving. But yeah, it's really hard to make friends. Even male friends. I work with producers who listen. I can tell you some stories. I can write a book. But people just do all kind of things in this business.
Well, you know what? Share one of those stories, like one of them.
Okay, here's one. Here's one. I'll say this one. My album. I wrote these tracks years ago. We was talking about this a few minutes ago. I write from way back yonder. I can give you history of I wrote it way back yonder. So I asked you to revamp my music. Revamp don't mean that's a remix, right? Remix. Can you remix my track? I give you my vocals. You already got music to it. I'm giving you the music too because you got to hear how I had it going. And you revamp it, and then you turn around and say, you want part of my writing? Why am I giving you part of my writing? I paid you to do the tracks.
Oh, wait, we forgot. We didn't hear that part. We didn't hear you paid to on top?
Yeah, I paid you. Well, that's not what I was going to charge. I didn't put, hey, don't try to get slick on me because you had something else in your mind. You charge what you charge. That's the end of it. You tell me what you charge, and I did what you asked. Now you're telling me I must give you part of my writing. What about the person that helped me wrote it? Oh, the hell with them. Oh, really? I don't think so. I don't mess with people like that. And that's why I've been in this business as long as I have. I don't steal. I don't, I give away, if anything. I don't take from anybody. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to let nobody take from me when I write my album myself and the tracks are old as hell. All I wanted was new music. And you get what you get on your mixes, but I'm not going to say you wrote my tracks. And you meet a lot of people like that, and then had the nerve to tell me, well, you ain't shit no more. You used to be. I was like, oh, okay. I ain't gonna say no names.
So let me ask everybody, is she still the shit or what, everybody? Come on now. They're loving you. They're sending you hearts from all over the world. They're like, she's still the shit. This girl,
I love people. Look, I love people, but you can screw me. I'll just keep it moving. You ask me how do I keep it moving? Screw me and I'll keep it moving. Try to screw me and I'll still keep it moving. And at the end of the day, I don't hold grudges. I don't, my thing is if you got something, you pass something by me that's good, I'm gonna roll on it. It's about a business. It's not about you being my friend or my whatever. Because at the end of the day, when we talking money and business, ain't no friendship. It all goes out the window when it comes right down to it. Let a big deal shoot up. The whole situation will change. And especially when you do handshakes.
Oh my God! You mean
when you do handshakes, it's like
you talk about moving the post line, like the goal line changes. It's like, wait a minute, I thought we were at the 50-yard line. No. You're by the 5-yard line now.
Across the room, it's like, wait, hold up. Yeah, it definitely changes. The bigger it gets, the more things will change. But yeah, I just keep it flowing. I don't hold on to anything. Trust me, I've been screwed a lot.
Okay, so now that you've been screwed, you're smarter. You started a record label. Tell us the name of the record label.
Yes.
Album.
KB Sounds. KB Sounds. I started that last year. I put my album on it. I got tired of people wanting to do what they want to do with my stuff. So I said, you know what? I just want to do one album the way I want to do it. So I did that. We put it out last August, and actually some people are just picking it up from last year. They think it just came out this year. So longevity, I never had a problem with. I'm still here. But at the end of the day, yeah, I started my own label, and so far so good. Got some more stuff ready to come. I'm just kind of like sitting on it like, well, when do I put it out? I got a cover I'm putting out. I guess I could tell you. No, I'll say that. I'll say that. I might send you a mix and you tell me what you think. So I'm gonna hold that one, but I do have a track I'm getting ready to put out, and like I said, I have some projects that I've worked on already.
So now, as a vocalist, artist, and having that whole mind frame of being a songwriter and part of production, how are you handling doing the day-to-day administration now of running a label?
Well, I have some friends, DNA Studios. They work with me, so they run the label part for me. So I don't really have to do any of that. They handle that part of it. So I do have a little crew, but they handle that part of it for me. And as far as anything else, marketing and so forth like that, I deal with somebody for that as well. So not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
I put out records when I feel like it, and when I don't, I don't. So yeah.
Starting to become our Sylvia Roan of house music now, Miss Thing. Sylvia Roan, here she comes, Kathy Brown.
I'm still looking for some new stuff. I always like venturing off into new things. The music is so widespread, you can just go anywhere vocally. So yeah, I'm out there. I'm waiting for you to give me a song. I'm still waiting on my music.
I know. I'm bad.
Still waiting.
TC Rogers asked me the same thing. I'm bad right now.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. It's a few people I love to do some stuff with. But like I said, it's something I'm working on. It's really big. You're really gonna like this. I might tell you offline.
Okay, you tell us later. Give us the tips, my dear. If you could talk to the young Kathy Brown from today, what would you tell her to change?
Oh, if I could talk to a young Kathy Brown, I'd probably say, don't be so nice. That's what I'd probably tell myself. I think sometimes being too nice in this business can kind of get you in trouble too. If I was a young Kathy, I would definitely look at things different. Don't be so nicey and naive. Learn what you're getting into. Learn your craft. Know it backwards and forward. And you won't have no problem. Everything should run smooth as long as you know what you're doing. But that's what I'll tell the young Kathy. There'll be no fool twice. Yeah. Get it right.
Any regrets? Do you have any regrets?
No, I have no regrets. I've done everything I wanted to do. Well, just about. I had my orchestra experience and I had a 40-piece band in Australia, Sydney, Australia. It was nice to have dance music played. This was 10 years ago now. To have dance music played with a 40-piece, it was amazing. It was me, Peyton, Peyton the singer. It was a few singers. It was nice though. Came out real nice. House music for the first time in Sydney, Australia, in an opera house. 2 nights sold out. It was wonderful. So yeah, I've done some amazing things.
Was Alison Limerick on that too? Alison Limerick. Was she also part of that? I remember seeing pictures, I think, of all of you together.
Yeah. A lot of people come over. He brought a lot of people.
Right, I remember that. That was a huge, a big thing. That was a humongous thing.
Yeah. So yeah. He definitely had some good stuff over there. Australia is I love Australia. But yeah, that's today's one of my favorite places.
Kathy, what should we expect when COVID's over, honey, and everything is good to go and vaccines are in place and we're safe to come out and play? What's the plan?
Oh, we got some stuff. Listen, I'm not being afraid. I'll probably be the first one running out of the house doing cartwheels. Ow! I'm ready. Yeah, but it's definitely a lot coming up. We have a lot coming up this year. Let's just hope we have something to come up to. Because from what I see now, I don't see how we coming into 2021 when we haven't even figured out what's happening in 2020. Nothing's been put into place. So how do you see things opening?
I know, it's hard. It's a tough
when nothing's been done up until this point. They're talking about another lockdown.
Where is that at right now in the UK? What's going on over there as far as the lockdowns?
Not yet. Not yet.
No yet?
Yep.
But I heard they're talking about it, that it's coming.
Yeah, they're talking about it. But it hasn't happened yet. I think they said something about a certain amount of people in the house. That's what they're saying. Can only be a certain amount of people.
From what I understand, if I got this correct, they don't want you commiserating from house to house. They want you.
Yeah.
But yet, this is what really, like, a lot of people are kind of like questioning. But I can go to, say, Piccadilly Circus and drink and be amongst a whole thousand people, but yet I can't go to someone's house.
Yeah, that is stupid.
Huh? You're a nurse. Come on, Nurse Brown. Tell us.
None of this makes any sense.
Nurse Brown, come on now. Tell us what we do.
Listen, the virus is not saying I ain't coming to your house if it's only 4 people in it. Let's be for real. It don't even make no sense to discuss it. It's like, for real, you want to answer to this? There, everybody just needs to
walk around with the mask.
Listen, if they'd kept it, to me, if they'd made everybody around the world do 14 days, would have been gone already. If you're in your house, it ain't got nowhere to go but in the circle in the house. It's over with. Once you do that 2 weeks.
Can knock this out, right?
Yeah, it's not going to happen because nobody's listening. And now people are frustrated because they talk about another lockdown and they ain't even really come off the first lockdown. So it's money ain't right, jobs. Listen, it's crazy. And the government is not giving no more money. He didn't want to give what he gave in the first place. So it's getting crazy. I saw one school where the kids were, it was so many of them, and it winded up breaking out in the schools. Colleges are sending kids home. So how's it going away? How are we supposed to go into 2021? 2021 is around the corner.
Oh, you don't know? You didn't hear about the magic drug coming? The vaccine?
Listen. Listen, you don't want to get me started. You don't want to get me started.
Come on, we're going to let you get started. It's 2020 right now. We got to hear this. Come on.
Well, look, it's the simplest things. Listen, magic drug, you know what that's all about. Let me say I got it. And then I know the election coming up. Then I'll turn around and go, look, I'm well now. Y'all want to know how I got well? I took the drug. He couldn't get America to take the drug and the way he was trying to do it in the first place. Now he's coming up with another way. He got it, took the drug, and it healed him.
A lot of people think he didn't have it.
He didn't have it. You haven't seen, you can't even get a doctor to say anything about him having it. There's no privacy thing on this. Either he had it or didn't. So you can't even get his doctors to say what's what.
In plural, S. Doctors. Did you not find that press conference funny? One guy comes out and it looks like a triangle of 10 doctors. Why was that? Why do we need to have 9 of the doctors standing around to hear the one doctor speak? I never understood that either.
But think about it. He done fired all the good ones. He bring back people to say what he wants them to say. And like a lot of these doctors have gotten on Facebook and tried to tell people, they trying to get y'all to take a drug that they ain't even give to rats. At the end of the day, they don't know what this drug is going to do. They haven't really fully tested it. They're just trying to do something to have people spend lots. It's about money.
People are screaming on the chat, say, I ain't taking this shit.
It's about money.
I know.
All drugs is about money.
Well, in cancer, some drugs do help you. Come on. I mean, they save your life. But this is a different situation. This is not a normal.
Listen, when they said when they first talked about that drug and the woman said they was going to test it on black people first.
The Bill Gates theory from Africa?
Yeah.
I read that too. I'm like, why?
When they said they was going to try it on the blacks first.
Why is that always? But why is that the first stop for them? Why do they always do that?
They figure hey, an easy way to wipe us out. They tried every other way.
Sickle cell. They did all those things in the 50s and the 60s. I know.
So they do things. It's just we as a people have to stand up against what's going on. It's time for us to stand up. At the end of the day, we can't depend on. I don't even understand how he's still president with all the stuff he done did. I don't get it. We've gotten rid of presidents just for getting, somebody coming into office and doing the thing on them. Got rid of the president. We've gotten rid of Bill. What's his name? What was the president we had Nixon?
Oh, you mean with Watergate?
Look how fast we got rid of him. Why can't we get rid of this man? He don't lie about the taxes. He lies about everything. So I'm not understanding. They ain't seen nothing yet. He goes up. You ain't supposed to have a business. A lot of things that presidents ain't supposed to be doing, he's doing. So
right, you're not supposed to.
Twitter. Hillary got banged up for tweeting on Twitter, but he can do it every day. I don't understand it. So. But then again, I don't understand the whole White House. It's like a house full of idiots. But what can I tell you? It'd be nice to take everybody out of there and just put all new people back in, young people.
Well, that's a whole other thing. One thing I want to say is that one thing I agree with him when he said drain the swamp, and I always wonder who the hell is he talking about, because the swamp. I've been saying drain the damn swamp. It's like, yo, what is up? Thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's killing the music scene. All of this is killing everything.
Oh, anything that has an indoor effect, Broadway, movies, restaurants. I mean, it doesn't even just music. Just going to a place, a wine bar, to have a glass of wine. You can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, can I have a glass of wine? I don't want this. Actually, I want to get this.
He's a glass of wine. Get the girl a glass of wine.
Actually, take that wine. I don't want no wine. Give me a Guinness.
Well, we're going to give you some cheese for the whining. I hope to God there's an answer soon, because we need to all come back. That's the thing.
Tell me about it.
So many people are suffering from this right now. It's just, I wish there was an easy answer. There's a lot of political stuff involved. And, you just said it right. Your kids went out and voted.
That's the first step.
That's a good step. Regardless if they win or not, they went out and voted.
That's it.
That's what happened in 2016. Because when you see all the chart metrics, it shows the African vote, the minority vote, brown, black, everything outside the white guy. They didn't vote. They stood home. Why? I don't like the candidate. Yo.
Yeah.
That's not an answer. You can't tell me you cannot go and vote.
Anything is better than what we have right now.
I've said the same thing. The janitor's even looking good.
Anything is better than what we have right now, even down to medical. It's messed up. How we get to this point? So
yeah, because you studied, you understand what's involved, and when you're asked from someone an answer, you have to give them a logical answer as to why you did that procedure, right?
Yep.
How does that not make sense that you hear these answers and they go, don't listen to scientists, don't listen to doctors. This Dr. Fauci guy, poor guy. Yeah. I know he's got it wrong in the beginning with the mask. I get it. But, I just don't understand it. Don't listen to scientists. Don't listen to doctors. Well, I'm going to go to my shoemaker to find out what's wrong with my brain. I mean, that's like, I don't understand the logic. And people don't have common sense.
They're listening. They're listening.
I know. They don't have common sense anymore.
That's the whole thing. But I kind of think that's what they want to divide the country. It's working. It's definitely working. I just want to know what the next plan is.
Big.
Where are we going?
Yeah. Where are you going after this? This is it for me now. I mean, I'm so glad we got you on, and I've been happy to be able to show people at home and have all of us talk about what's truly happening.
Yep.
Can you leave us on an uptick? Can you give us some hope and tell us what we need to be doing and what we should be doing?
Listen, I can't really tell people what they should or shouldn't be doing, but I know at the end of the day, for us musicians and stuff, we just need to keep doing what we're doing, keep spreading the love through songs, through praise, whichever way you can get it across. I think that's what we need to keep doing. And I think we need to come together a little more, a little better than what we have. I'm not being funny, but I look at the house sing and we say it's love, but I like to see us come together a little more as a whole, as a family, as a community, instead of just talking about it. I like to actually see it, and not when somebody die. I like to see it before the person die. I just want to see a point where all of us can just get back to what we love. And again, like I said, spreading love all through the land. This is what it's all about. This is how it all started. This is how it's going to end. With music, sound. So what's it? Let the trumpet sound? Yes. But yeah, I just want us to just keep doing what we're doing.
Well, it said like a true trooper.
And that's all I can say is just keep doing it. We give up, they win. So at the end of the day, we can't give up. We have to keep moving. And we have to keep striving and making it better. Because there is better ways. At the end of the day, think about it as us as being celebrities. This is the last thing I'm going to say. We got people out here with money. I mean, so much money. We don't have to depend on certain entities, but we don't have to depend on a whole lot of things. So those of us with lots of money out here, we need to change how we're thinking about doing things or how we do things. And again, come together. Bring some of that money to your own community. Bring some of that money to your own, build away from. You don't really need it. We had a Wall Street. We had. So it's not like it can't be done. If they want to be separated, we can separate ourselves. But we have to come together as a people to do that. So that's kind of where I leave it.
Okay. Well said, like a true trooper, Kathy. I got to thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are, and I can't. I'm speechless on the interview. So
thank you for bringing me on. Yeah.
Yeah, you let us in your world, and I can't thank you enough. And this is what it's all about: true house stories, and said it just as it needed to be said. Let's hope, no matter who wins, that we can get through this and come back. Because damn it, we need to come back.
There you go.
Well,
come back stronger.
Let's give Kathy Brown a huge applause. Thank you so much. Keep doing your music is the bomb. We love you and
thank you.
We support
congratulations to you with our heart. You deserve it. You are the best. You really deserve it.
I you know what? I didn't see it coming. I was like, again, all I did was do something just to bring to
Listen, you're the sweetest person in the world, and the way you bring across things to people is so humble. This was just perfect. And I'm glad you did it.
Yeah, you got to speak the way you want to speak. Nobody held you back.
It. I love it. This fits you. You fit right in. I love it.
So do you. You do very well as well. And believe me, and people enjoy hearing you sing. And when we come back, we're going to be expecting you to bat us out those diva hits each and every time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, tune in next week. We got more coming. We got a lot of great acts. I
can't wait to see.
I know, me too. Me too. Man, this is a lot of work. I'll tell you, we work all week for this. This is what's crazy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I can't wait to see it. So far, I've been watching some of your stuff, and it's fantastic. My boy, Marshall Jefferson, I loved it.
Oh, yeah, Marshall.
So I love what you're doing. I mean, I think it's fantastic.
Well, you know what it is? It's also now like a documentary in a sense that, we're documenting, we're putting them up on YouTube. People can go to this and look at, who we are.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what it's all about.
Singer that comes to your club, we're more than that.
Yeah.
We're more than that. We have a heart. We care. We're trying to make it. We're trying to live.
Yes.
We're family members. We church people, whatever we are. But we're more than just what you think we are.
Well, I know you've always been in my corner.
Always. And I always will be. You got that.
That's what I love about you. You're always the same way, no matter what. That's what I love about you.
That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and have a good night around the world. And from New York to London, Singapore, Australia, everywhere. True House Stories will be here each and every week. 2 o'clock New York City time, 7 UK time, 8 for Europe, and God knows whatever time zone you are right now. So take care. Kathy, thank you again. Ma.
Bye, darling.
Good night, hon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.